Hello everyone, welcome to How To. Today we are going to be focusing on arithmetic sequences. So without further delay, let's get started. Before we define what an arithmetic sequence is, let us recap what a sequence is. In our previous video on sequence and series, we defined a sequence to be a list of objects or values given in a special order. Here we have two examples. We have a sequence that is given by a square, triangle, star, which is then followed by a square, triangle, star. Similarly, we have a sequence given by 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Here we can see that each following term is derived by adding 2 to the previous term. Remember, the term refers to each number, element, or object in the sequence. So now what is an arithmetic sequence? An arithmetic sequence is one where the difference between two consecutive terms is the same or constant. Here we are given the numbers 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. The number 5 represents the first term of the sequence. Number 10 is the second term. Number 15 is the third term, 20 the fourth term, and 25 the fifth term, and so on. In this case, this is an arithmetic sequence because the common difference between the two consecutive terms is 5. Let's look at a few examples. I would like you to take some time to find the next two terms in each of the sequences shown here. Pause the video and do it now. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the solution. We were given the sequence 3, 5, and 7, and we were asked to find the next two terms. Here we see that we need to add 2 to get the next two terms in the sequence. That is, we add 2 to 7 to get 9, and then we add 2 to 9 to get 11, and these are our next two terms. As with the previous sequence, it can be seen that each following term is derived by adding 2 to the previous term. In this case, the two terms are 8 and 10. The last example was slightly different. Here, instead of the numbers increasing, they were seen to decrease. In this example, subtracting 22 from 17 gives us minus 5, and subtracting 17 from 12 gives us minus 5. This means that the terms in this sequence are decreasing by 5. So, our two terms are calculated to be 7 and 2 respectively. Now that we are familiar with what an arithmetic sequence is, we can define an arithmetic sequence rule. An arithmetic sequence rule is derived from identifying the first term of the sequence and the common difference between the terms. By defining an arithmetic sequence rule, we will be able to find the value of any term for a given sequence. Here we have the numbers 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. The first term in this sequence is denoted by the letter A, and in this case is given as 3. The difference between two consecutive terms is called the common difference and denoted by the letter D. And in this case, if we take any two consecutive terms, we get 5 minus 3, which is 2, or 7 minus 5, which is 2. So the common difference is given as 2. To explain this further, let's look at a sequence given by 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. We know that the difference between the terms are represented by D. So, the difference between the second and first term is D. The difference between the third and first term is D plus D, or 2D. Similarly, the difference between the fourth term and the first term is given by d plus d plus d, or 3d, and finally the difference between the fifth term and the first term is given as 4d. So let's recap that. The first term is given as a. In this case, a is 3. Our second term can be calculated by taking the first term and adding the difference d. Our third term can be calculated by adding 2d to our first term. Similarly, our fourth term is calculated by adding 3d to a, and our fifth term is calculated by adding 4d to our first term. From here, we can see a pattern arising. So we can write the rule for a general arithmetic sequence to be S subscript n is equal to a plus n minus 1 times d. Let us take an example to learn how to write a general rule for an arithmetic sequence. Here we are given a sequence 22, 17, 12, 7, and 2. To find the rule, we need to identify two terms. We need to identify a, which is the first term of the sequence, and we need to identify d, which is the common difference. Remember, the general rule is given by Sn is equal to a plus n minus 1 times d. In this case, the first term, a, is 22, and the common difference, which is calculated by taking one term and subtracting the previous term from it, let's say 17 minus 22, or 12 minus 17, or even 2 minus 7, we get the common difference of minus 5. So, to write the general rule for this arithmetic sequence, we can substitute what we have found for a and d. In this case, we get the general rule for this arithmetic sequence to be Sn is equal to 27 minus 5n. It is time for another example that you should try by yourself. Here we are given two sets of arithmetic sequences. Please pause the video and try this for yourself to make sure that you are understanding the concepts that are being taught. Welcome back. Let's see what the solutions are. For the sequence given by the example, in this case 3, 8, 13, 18, and 23, we identify the first term a to be 3. The common difference is calculated to be 5. So, in this case, our general arithmetic rule, which is given by Sn is equal to a plus n minus 1d, can be written as Sn is equal to 5n minus 2. Remember, we get this by substituting a by 3 and substituting d with 5. In the second example, 2 minus 1 minus 4 minus 7 and minus 10, the first term is given as 2 and the common difference is minus 3. Here, the general arithmetic rule is given as Sn equals 5 minus 3n. Let's summarize what we have learned. We know that an arithmetic sequence is a sequence where the difference between two terms is constant or stays the same. And we know that a general rule for an arithmetic sequence is defined by Sn is equal to a plus n minus 1d. Well, that's it for arithmetic sequence, guys. Hope the examples made it easy to grasp the concept. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment or email me on howtosimply@gmail.com. I hope you liked this video And if you'd like to see more videos on such content, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.